Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We have pick voice number 2. First, I will discuss the sentence number last in the pick voice number 1. I told you that we use that for all genders, and we use who for what we whose for the possessive case of who. I met my neighbor whose father is a doctor. I am talking about the father of my neighbor, not the neighbor himself. I am talking about the father of my neighbor. So it is a possessive case, so we use who. And as far as whom is concerned, we use it for the objective cases. For example, the woman whom I wanted to see was away on holiday. The woman whom I wanted to see. After the verb, if we use a pronoun, that would be an object, and before the verb it is subject. So I is the objective case. I is the objective case used in the relative clause. So this would be the objective case of who. So whenever we mention an objective case of who, we use whom. So the woman whom I wanted to see was away on holiday. Now pick voice number 2. We have the above examples, 5 examples, and in these 5 sentences the parts underlined are what we call relative clauses, and we have 5 subjects used in 5 sentences. About which or whom we talk in these sentences, those would be called antecedents. So a relative pronoun starts with who, which, that, whose, or whom, and the thing or the subject we talk about, we describe through a relative clause, is what we call antecedent. So in sentence number 1 we talked about the woman, so woman is an antecedent in that sentence. In second we talked about I, so I is the antecedent which is described by the relative pronoun. The chocolate, in the third sentence, no, we have this one, what we call everything. The everything mentioned in the third sentence, make a correction here, it is not the chocolate, it is everything. Everything is what is used as an antecedent here, what is used as an antecedent in sentence number 3. And in sentence number 4, we use I as an antecedent, and in sentence number last we use the woman as an antecedent. After this we have two types of relative clauses. One is a defining relative clause and another is non-defining. Define means the relative clause that defines the antecedent. For example, a teacher is a person who teaches. Who teaches is the relative clause which defines a teacher. A teacher is grammatically an antecedent. So a relative clause who teaches defines the antecedent a teacher, and we call such relative clauses as defining relative clauses. And defining relative clauses are essential parts of sentence cannot exist without a defining relative clause. And who teaches, and therefore is a non-defined, sorry, and who teaches is a defining relative clause. One more correction is there, it is non-defining, it is defining a relative clause, because we define a teacher. Next is non-defining relative clause. Non-defining relative clause give us more information about the subject or the noun or the pronoun. It is not an essential part of a sentence. A sentence can exist without it. Example, his cousin who is a teacher is my best friend. In this sentence, who is a teacher is a non-defining relative clause. If you remove it, the sentence can exist of its own, but it adds to the information. So who is a teacher is an additional information about the subject cousin, so it is a non-defining relative clause.